I mentioned earlier this show about us doing Bosqueville baseball tomorrow night in Round Rock, and if they win Thursday at noon on SicEm365 Radio, Lark Smith, who did the MCC games, won the national title in Grand Junction, Colorado's in studio with us. Great to see Lark. Always great to see Lark. We're now joined by John McClain. I know he knows Lark Smith as well. John, how about Mitch Thompson and MCC winning the national championship?
Well, I'm curious. Did you guys call Rick Butler, who won that first championship?
We had him on. We had him on. I think it was about the last time they were in the national championship. So we've had him on. Yes. Yeah.
Well, I know that Rick would be really proud of MCC winning the school's second championship after he won the first one. He's a prominent Waco, and I've respected ever since I took tennis from him when I was a freshman there in 1971. But I think Mitch Thompson did obviously an incredible job. Congratulations to the staff. As a proud graduate of MCC before I went to Baylor, and I think I was alumni of the year in 2018. I came up there and accepted an award, and they treated me royally. And when I was at the Tribune Herald, I covered MCC when Vinnie Johnson was there, took them to the national championship. So I wouldn't be where I am today without spending my time covering the Highlanders and basketball and baseball. I'll always love going out to the ballpark there and hanging out in the stands and watching them play good baseball. They play good baseball for a long time, and now they're the best in the country, and you can't beat it.
All right, John, do the Texans have a legit quarterback battle with Deshaun Watson off the map for right now, or is it Tyrod Taylor, and that's who the quarterback is?
No, and it's Tyrod.
Tyrod
Taylor is the starter, and veteran Jeff Driscoll is the backup. Rookie Davis Mills is number 3. Now, at some point this year, they're going to have to look at Davis Mills, their third-round pick from Stanford. I think the best time would be after their bye week, the last 8 games of the season, because they've got to find out, can he be the quarterback of the future? It's not likely, but they need to find out, because if he can, then that means that has a huge impact on the 2022 draft. If he can't, they're going to have to use their first pick, which could be first overall, in finding a new quarterback.
John, I know that you wrote a couple of pieces about Davis Mills. What were some of your impressions in talking to him, just hearing him speak about his experience or opportunity with Houston?
Well, first, Craig, the Texans haven't made him available to us since he was drafted. We've requested him. He's been here since the rookie minicamp, so he made an appearance at TriStar shows here, memorabilia shows. So 4 of us in the media went over and interviewed him. He was terrific. He has got great size. He had a 36 on his Wonderlic, which is probably higher than anybody in the organization. And his only issue about him, great arm, is he only started 11 games at Stanford and played in 14. But he came from David Shaw's pro-style system when he took snaps under center and in the shotgun, which he has to do in the NFL. They let him have some freedom at the line of scrimmage. So from the mental stuff, he shouldn't have that difficult a transition. But there's nothing like playing and learning from your success and failures, and he just didn't get to do that much. Had he stayed in school for his last year, he might have been a top 10 pick.
John McClain, Houston Chronicle with us, SicEm365 Radio. Your thoughts about the Falcons and Julio Jones going to the Titans?
Well, we asked Lovie Smith today about it. Of course, his job just got tougher because he plays them twice a year. And somebody asked me, how does Julio Jones getting traded to the Titans affect the Texans? I said, are you kidding me? Doesn't affect the Texans at all. The next time they're competitive, he'll be retired. So it affects Indianapolis because the Colts and the Titans are the 2 best teams in the division. Lovey's played 5 games against Julio Jones when he was the head coach at Chicago and Tampa Bay, knows him very well. But there's not another team that can put a foursome out there like Jones, A.J. Brown, their third-year receiver, who's outstanding, Derrick Henry, the best running back in the NFL, and Ryan Tannehill, who's done a tremendous job of rejuvenating his career over the last 2 seasons when they finished 10-6. When they've gone to the AFC Championship game and then won the division this year.
Well, and They lost Jonnu Smith, too. How much do you think that helps make up for the loss of Corey Davis, who was a lot of yards, and obviously he's better, but also Jonnu Smith, who went to the Patriots?
Well, let's be honest. Losing Jonnu Smith, that's not a big deal for them. The guy was pretty good. He had a few good games, but it's not like he's an elite tight end. He's more like an H-back. But when you had A.J. Brown, he's the one that gets double teamed. And now with Julio Jones coming in there, he's going to help take away those double teams from Brown. Corey Davis was a disappointment except last season. Last year of his contract, he had his best season. I'm always suspect of players that do that, and we'll see how he does with his new team. But that offense is going to be fun. It's going to be prolific. I'm not picking them over the Chiefs, but I think it helps make them a legitimate Super Bowl contender behind Kansas City. And if their defense will be better, their defense was bad last season. If the defense is better, they've got a chance to challenge the Chiefs. Because if you play a good team, the best way to beat them is keep a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes on the sideline while you run Derrick Henry 30 times.
John, any thoughts on the passing of Jim Fossil? Did you know him at all or have many interactions with him?
I didn't know Jim Fossil, but of course I knew his career. Terrible thing. Feel bad for his son. And, Jim was 71. He helped the Giants go to the Super Bowl. He was very well respected as an assistant coach and a great guy. Everybody liked Jim Fossil. So it's a loss for the NFL and condolences to the Fossil family.
John McClain with us, Houston Chronicle. John, what is it like? You mentioned that the Texans did not, at least have not let Davis be available, but he was with you, or he's at that collectibles deal. What is it like to see these OTAs? Not everybody's doing them, but you're starting to see like the weeds come up from the ground in the early spring, and then eventually the grass grows. What's it like to see some of this happening for someone who's been a part of the league for so long?
Well, we've only been able to see two, and one wasn't legitimate. We'll see another one tomorrow. I like watching quarterbacks, receivers, defensive backs, tight ends. Can't watch the linemen. Those guys are, as I call it, patty cake football. They can't hit till training camp. And even in training camp, it takes like days for them to put on pads. A coach today referred to them as being out there in their nightgowns, which I'd never heard, but probably thought was pretty appropriate. So you watch the quarterbacks, and like Davis Mills, when he stands out with his size, his arm, and you watch him with all the receivers, and they have so many new players on this team, 50 new players, 42 new veterans. They're like an expansion team, and I can't wait to see how it all comes together. It's kind of like shuffling cards or shuffling dominoes and then see how they fall, because this team's got a long way to go. Underdogs right now in every game they play. Some people think they'll be the first 0-17 team. I don't believe that, because they play Jacksonville here, they play the Jets here. I think they might win one game or two, maybe three, which is what I predict. Hopefully they'll be bad enough to get the top pick.
John, do you see the offseason structure changing with all these teams kind of getting together and saying that they didn't like the way that was OTAs are structured, and you got player in the NFLPAs kind of getting involved in this now, even though there's a current collective bargaining agreement?
There's so much whining about the off-season program, Paul. They're out there in shorts and T-shirts and helmets. They don't hit. That's why I call it patty cake. They reach out, touch each other's hands. I've never seen so much whining about an off-season program that really is just mainly about the mental part. And as people have said, if the union worked that hard when they did the last collective bargaining agreement, they would have come out better.
Thank you, John. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys. SicEm.
That's John McClain, Houston Chronicle, brought to you by Pioneer Steel and Pipe, with us every Tuesday in the 5:30 or so segment.
I did
here or what?
I did like what I heard from the Falcons' new head coach on Julio Jones when he was asked. He said, "I don't talk about players I've never coached. Like I don't have any thoughts on a player I've never coached." So I thought that was brilliant response. It's totally true too. So why stoke the flames?